McNair gives it to George, running right up the middle. Touchdown! Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle!
The safety, now you're one-on-one with it.
Shows why he's the man! In trouble. Sack!
Ladies and gentlemen, Titan Nation, welcome back. Today, we're discussing our third round pick from Penn State, Kevin Winston Jr. And me here to break it down with me, I have no other than the man himself. We have Easton Freeze. How you doing, man?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Haven't been on in a while, but I appreciate you coming on. If you guys haven't seen any of Easton's breakdowns, amazing work, man. Working for A to Z now.
Thank you.
I'm happy, man. I'm happy to have you on, and I like watching your growth, man. You do outstanding work, so I appreciate it.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
All right, now let's stop the small talk. Let's talk about Kevin Winston Jr. What do you like about it? Were you surprised with this pick? Talk to me, Easton.
Sure. Yeah, I think Winston is a real value at 82 overall. He's somebody that didn't get to finish all of his last season, obviously tore his ACL, partially tore his ACL in the fall. And that's really, if you talk to pretty much any analysts, including Nick Saban on the broadcast the night of the draft, he's somebody that if he had been able to finish out and play all of his final year, probably would have been a fringe first round prospect, probably would have been picked above Nick Emenwari, who ended up going 35 overall to the Seahawks. He was, the second or third best safety in this class, in most people's opinion. His superpower is tackling. He's somebody that is literally the best tackler we've seen at the safety position in I don't know how many years. He had a 0% tackle rate in college. Literally doesn't miss when he gets his hands on you. He's going to tackle you 100% of the time. And so that is something that is what he leans on as more of a, I'd say maybe more of a cleanup artist at safety than he is a playmaker. I don't think it's impossible for him to develop into a playmaker at the NFL level because he does have the frame that you're looking for, a prototypical size, speed, athleticism for a modern NFL safety where we've kind of blurred the lines between playing free and strong. He's somebody that you could comfortably bring down into the box, send to pressure the quarterback or play in the deep halves. And I don't, necessarily see him as somebody that you're too worried about moving around the formation. But he isn't somebody that in college did a lot of, flying, sideline to sideline and breaking up a pass or winning at the catch point and coming down with a contested catch and producing interceptions. But he was somebody that was the safety valve, that was what the safety ultimately is, right? The safety valve of the defense, somebody that was going to be there on the back end and not let people behind him and be that guy that is ultimately doing his job. So that's kind of the next iteration of his development. If he becomes a real superstar in the NFL, is to kind of become that playmaker. And again, I think that he has it in his body to do so. He just didn't really do it much in college.
Gotcha. And you think is it a risky move for the Titans to? Because again, we've known in the past about getting injured players. I mean, sometimes it worked for the Titans and sometimes it didn't work. I mean, perfect example, Jeffrey Simmons, coming off the injury. I mean, you had his time to develop, and when he was time to go and show up, he did in the Chargers game. What do you think about that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I don't, he had the partial tear in the fall, and then as of March, he was at his pro day running a 4.5 140. So, I don't know the ins and outs of his medical progress right now. I've not seen his chart, but I do know that they're not particularly worried about it. It's really the only major injury he's ever had. So it's not something that I think teams are holding against him as somebody that is injury prone by any means. Just sometimes it happens. And even to the most durable guys, sometimes those ligaments fail on you when you're a high level athlete. So I'm not too worried about the injury side of things.
Okay, cool, cool. And what do you think is something that he needs to maybe clean up a little bit in his game?
That's a great question. I mean, again, I think it comes down to his ability in coverage to not just be reliable and solid, but to be a real plus. Like I don't think he's not a hindrance in coverage. He's not somebody that's like a true box safety that you really don't want playing in the deep halves. But he isn't really somebody that I think out of the box you'd be super comfortable with as your single high safety trying to cover sideline to sideline. And that's more an identification thing and seeing the game than it is an athleticism thing because he has it in his body to be able to fly around in that way. I think it's just going to come with reps and speeding up the game mentally for him to be able to be that playmaker that somebody like Kevin Byard was, where you're flying around and making interceptions and jumping on routes and doing all that stuff. He is more than capable as an athlete of doing that, and he's not a negative in that regard by any means, but it's not his strong suit.
Got you. And you definitely, for what he got, what we got, the third round pick, you definitely see him playing a bigger role and being in that rotation for this year, correct?
Yeah, yeah. The two guys in front of him are both on, expiring contracts. Xavier Woods, the newest addition, on a 1 year deal. Um, and so I don't, and Monty Hooker, of course. I don't see a world in which he's starting over either of those guys on week one,
Mhm.
but you're always going to rotate a third safety in there no matter what, especially when you're playing a lot of too high. And so he's somebody that's going to see the field, I think, pretty early. And a starting role is one injury away. You're going to have the depth there that you need. You saw last year the defense fell apart down the stretch in large part because of the guys that you were having to play on the back end of the spine of the defense at linebacker and at safety because of the injuries or trades that they underwent at those positions. And so he's a big lift to the overall security of that group. And
Mhm.
he's also somebody that I could see developing into a starter come injury or not by the end of the season.
Okay, perfect. Cool, man. Easton, before I let you go, I wanted to appreciate you coming on. Love your insight. Love, what you do for the Titans. And I mean, if you guys are Titan fans and you guys are looking for the best information possible, I mean, Easton Freeze is the best you're gonna get, man. So appreciate what you're doing and look forward to seeing you in the when the season starts, man.
Yeah, you're the man. Thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure.
All right, brother.